Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next session. This is with Iryna Okhrymenko from A Jar of Insights. And I've actually been really looking forward to this session, Iryna, because of this discussion about the emotional radar with AI. Like, how are we going to manage this? So I'm not going to take away your time because I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have to share. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Angelina. Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you today and share my experience and my learnings. So I'm going to share my screen. So I think you can see it now. Hi everyone. Great to see you all here today. Thank you so much for joining the session. My name is Iryna, but everyone calls me Erin, and today we are going to talk about something that sounds soft, but is increasingly a hard compliance requirement: reading the room. I'll start with a brief overview. So that's what we are going to discuss today. So we'll start with quick introductions and then straight into the work. I'll share the regulatory landscape in the UK, new legislations, new policies. Then we'll move on to the emotional radar, basically the tool which I created based on my previous experience. And then I'll share some testing frameworks which you can use with your teams as well. And then a closing reflection. So I'll walk you through everything using real examples from my experience. I'm not sure if we have a chat, and if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat, or you can ask me after the session, at the end of the session. If you can access the chat, I would like you to pop in the chat your name, what you do, maybe your struggles, like what's your biggest problem in the product you're developing, you're working on, or what are your expectations from these sessions. But I'll go first. So I'm a product leader. I consult early stage startups on product and ethical AI implementation. I've been working as product manager for the past 5 years across edtech, health tech, and cyber. And currently I'm doing my PhD at Aston University in the UK, researching how organizations implement generative AI. Outside of work, I serve as an AI ambassador. I help schools with implementation of their AI action plans in the way that is ethical, safe, and effective. I'm really passionate about education, sharing knowledge. I used to be a teacher. I used to design my own curriculum, training lessons, materials, and building an edtech startup. All this stuff I'm talking about is very personal for me. So I want to start with a story. Because I think this story captures exactly why we're here today. Imagine that you're building a new learning platform or a chatbot to support students on their learning journey. You invested months, real care, teams that believed in what you're building, you have good intentions, and a week before your launch date, new regulations drop. You read through them and you realize that your product isn't compliant and it can't be used in schools. And basically, this is not a story I created. This is a real story of a founder I met a few weeks ago. When we sat down with them and looked at where the gaps are, where the gaps were, it wasn't in the data architecture or any technical problems. It was the emotional design layer. So the way AI spoke to students, the way it motivated them, and the way it responded when students need some help when they're struggling. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So as you might know, in January 2026, 2 months ago, the UK Department for Education released updated Gen AI product safety standards. And they basically cost what you can expect. Some tech founders stopped schools that were about to roll out AI tools post, and everyone got a bit confused how they actually assess tools, if they're compliant or not. So a bit about these regulations. Basically, these standards are really thorough, but one thing which is striking me about them is that what we used to think about as edge cases are now actually core compliance requirements that most edtech founders never considered during design. Main problems founders usually focus on are algorithmic bias and data privacy. And there is nothing wrong with that. They are also real problems. But Department for Education standards, they require you to do more to prevent mental health issues with your students, to avoid manipulation, to avoid cognitive offloading. So there are lots of issues which might occur with your product, with your AI. For example, AI using manipulative language to increase engagement. We all know that as product managers, as founders, we want to increase engagement in our products. But if you use, if you're using manipulative language, this is not good practice, and your product just is not compliant. It also sits alongside the EU AI Act, Article 5, which has been enforced, if I'm not mistaken, since last year. It also prohibits manipulative language. Basically, EU regulations apply to any product with EU users, wherever you're based. So that's a bit of a context. Most teams approach AI development in this order, traditional approach. Yes, so you build your product, you test technical performance, you ship it to users, you discover safety issues, and then you try to patch safety on top of existing product. But the problem is that by step 4, your ethical violations, they are already baked into the system. And the tool I'm going to share with you, the Emotional Radar, it can help your team to design ethical constraints as an engineering requirements. So it can help you to identify potential risks before they become real problems. So I want to tell you first how this framework came to exist. I didn't design it specifically to meet the new regulations. I designed it because I was hitting the same problem. So I was working a couple of years ago, I was working across multiple stakeholders on a product. I was getting conflicting requirements, conflicting feedback all the time. And I kept feeling that the standard approach were not very helpful. They didn't help me to see where actually we're going and what people are actually feeling, people who we are designing for. So I built a map, and it turned out that the dimensions that predicted the most conflict, the most risk, were trust and vulnerability. So as you can see, the Emotional Radar has 2 axes. So you measure your user's current trust level. Basically, here you need to answer the question, how much does this specific stakeholder, trust product right now? It doesn't include personal trust in you, but it includes trust and confidence in your product, in your platform, in your approach. So how to identify current trust level? You can use the scale from 1 to 10, where 1 can be low trust. For example, if the stakeholder says, I've been burned before, and I'm not going to use this here. Or if it's like 10, it can be high trust. For example, if the user, the stakeholder says, yes, I really believe this technology can help me. The second axis, that's emotional investment needed. Basically, here you need to answer the question, how much emotional investment, how much work does your team need to engage with the stakeholder? You need to answer this question based on the stakes for your stakeholders, the emotional intensity, and the consequences if everything goes wrong. For example, again, you can use the scale from 1 to 10. If it's low emotional investment needed, something like 1, 2, 3, it means that they have minimal stakes in your product. High emotional investment, that's if the person desperately needs your product, desperately needs your solution, but they require constant reassurance, they require trust building. And this tool gives you 5 different zones. So I'm not going to go through every zone. This template is available for free on Miro, so you can find it online, copy and use with your teams. And there is also like step-by-step instructions which can help you to use this tool effectively. So what I want to focus on today is this specific zone, trust building, the red one, because this is the most dangerous zone, I would say, for a developer, for a founder, because you have really low trust level, and you need quite a lot of emotional investment to engage with your stakeholders in this zone. And this zone also presents the biggest opportunities for you. So I would suggest that you focus on this zone first. So now let me show you how it actually works in practice. So you can see Sarah here, yeah. So this is a real user from my previous project. So Sarah was a C-level executive in her late 60s. At that point, we were developing an edtech solution to teach foreign language. Sarah was using a language learning platform to prepare for presentation with her international partners, for international partners. So a bit of background, she studied German in school, but she was really struggling. She felt really insecure about her abilities. She worried that her colleagues will judge her mistakes, and she was really time pressured. So she had about like 3 months to improve her language skills and to do presentation. So if I want to assess and to put her on emotional radar, I would do the following. So we need to assess her current trust level. Basically what I need a script from the interview with Sarah. So what she says that she is not good at languages. Yeah, she failed German in school. And she actually not sure if the tool, the technology can help her. She has some concerns that it might be just a waste of time for her. So I would say that her trust level is something about 3, yeah, like really low. Then I need to assess the emotional investment my team needs, right, to engage with this stakeholder, with Sarah. So because Sarah said that her presentation, a really important presentation, is in 3 months, and that's really important for her. So she has high stakes in our product, right? At the same time, she thinks that technology will not help, and she's too old for tech. So I would say that the emotional investment needed is about like 8, 9, because we need really to put some effort to engage with Sarah and to show that our product can really help her. So as you can see, Sarah falls into this trust building zone. So she's quite vulnerable, and she doesn't have much trust in tech, in our solution. And Sarah is a perfect user, perfect example to show that a user can be hurt by manipulative techniques which can be used by AI. So the next slide. So this is the next example. Same user, same stakeholder, same product. So we identified that Sarah is in a critical risk zone. So let's map her emotions to ethical principles. So basically, you can see that she feels and she's afraid of shame about mistakes. So which ethical principle it can relate to? It's dignity, and then you need to think what you might be doing wrong in your product. So if you have already like live product, you might have some evidence. If you are on early stage or you just have an idea, you might just have some assumptions. So that's really like brainstorming activity. So you need to think like what you might be doing wrong at this stage. For example, it can be using shame-based motivation. If your student fails, your AI might reply something like, you failed, your peers are doing way much better. So that's shame-based motivation. If you have a working product here, you might think like, what was your assumption? Why you implemented exactly this solution? So our assumption was that competition drives engagement. We thought that if everyone see each other progress, each other mistakes, it will drive engagement, but it didn't. Then you can see other examples here. Interesting. That was our users at that specific company. Well, the users were really diverse, of different age and different learning styles, different backgrounds. So we assumed that best practices work for everyone, and we did some gamification, but with some types of learners it didn't really work. And again, it relates to ethical principle like fairness. So we designed gamification for younger learners, and we thought that it would work for everyone. Again, our assumptions was that gamification is a best practice and it will work for everyone. So basically, during this exercise, you need to ask your team, yourself, to think about each moment in your user journey, each step, what a person might feel during each step, what ethical principles can be applied to each step in your user journey, and what might violate that principle, what you might be doing wrong at each stage of the journey. Then speaking about the new standards. So that's another version, an extended version of this exercise. I added a column called potential compliance issues. Again, for example, if you create an AI persona, it relates to an ethical principle like well-being of a student. And new standards in the UK say that it might cause psychological harm if an avatar cultivates this parasocial relationship. So you need to be really careful with creating a persona and make sure that you are not generating unhealthy relationships, unhealthy attachment. But again, as a founders, as a product managers, we think that personification increases product stickiness, that the users will use our product more if we create this attachment. But we need to balance and to be really careful about this. And same applies with EU AI Act as well. Okay, next. So we mapped our risks. Yeah, you can see what you might be doing wrong, what are your assumptions. And then I want to share some testing frameworks. Basically now how you can test your assumptions. I will give you a couple of techniques. This one is assumption mapping, traditional technique where you put your assumptions. You need to collect evidence and identify business criticality. If it's critical, usually, yeah, well, these risks are critical. And sometimes you might not have enough evidence for this assumption. You need to identify a test method, what is the best method to test, and success criteria. This can be a bit tricky with success criteria because you need to be as precise as possible. For example, you can't just say it will be a success if users will stay longer in the session. Because you don't have like specific number, you can't say if it's success or not longer, like a minute longer, 5 minutes longer. Again, you need to put some numbers, and it should be easy to check. Another testing framework approach is called pre-mortem. Basically, here you assemble your team, you gather your team and say that it's 2027, in a year's time. Imagine that your product is in the news because vulnerable user was harmed. What went wrong? And this is a really good technique because if you ask your team just to critique, just to criticize your product, they might be very defensive because it's their baby. Yeah, they created this product and it's your product as well. It's your baby as well. So everyone becomes defensive. But if you do this exercise, imagine that everything went wrong, the vulnerable user was harmed. You just need to say like what really might go wrong to brainstorm possible scenarios. And another technique is gap analysis. It's also a traditional technique. Basically, you take the regulations, policy, standards, your guidelines, you sit down and see what is required by the regulations and what your product actually is doing right now. And you see the gap. So this gap is basically what you need to manage. That's all. What I want to ask you to do, just think about what you liked about this presentation. One thing you want to take and implement, to try with your team, and maybe what you'd like to learn more about. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hi, Iryna.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I didn't see any questions, but that's so, as I said, I mean, before, really important and insightful. And I really appreciate that. I don't know if anyone wants to, we've had quiet audiences today, so maybe it's because it's still the morning in the US.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's almost evening here in the UK.
Exactly.
Late afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really, really appreciate you being here, and we'll definitely talk soon.
That would be great. Yeah, if anyone has questions, feedback, I'm always open to chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.